Are you laughing?
They don't say hi or nothing. They just start talking.
Left guess is usually to roast the fuck out of them. So
No, that's not what happened at all.
oh, that might not have happened this time. That's what I've seen. When they had Anthony Weiner on, it was that. When I've seen other left-leaning guys go on, it's usually like
Oh, he did it to his Patreon. That's smart. Shout out to Joe Budden for actually knowing how to monetize.
rake him over
Well,
the
one of
coals
them
that-
is on the left, right?
Which guy?
So, I really thought that Adam just said I've never voted for a Republican, but I might vote Republican.
I think Adam is fair.
Yeah.
I think Adam is fair generally from what I've seen, but he's like center at best. And I'm not even like a communist type guy, but I mean, like Adam is like pretty center. Like he's like a, I just don't think he's behind all the Trump stuff.
But why laugh if I'm like, I just went Patrick Bet-David? It's like, haha, like what's that?
Oh, sorry. In my world, there's a lot. There's always like a lot of drama on people hitting like.
Wood left, I'm on the right. It's like, what do you actually think? You know, what do you actually believe?
Sure, I agree for sure. Yeah. What are you talking about mainly over the past week or two? What's the stuff that's captured your attention, your eyes the most?
Man, I talk about everything on my show. I mean, obviously, I think the biggest topic for me has been the Diddy lawsuit. It's the craziest thing that's come out, I think, since Jeffrey Epstein. And it's definitely significant because a lot of the work that I do is talking about or I guess really asking the question is what's happened to black.
I prefer, I see somebody said, oh, she's actually in the room with him. I prefer to have real life conversations with people in my life also. Like when I have a confrontation, I like to feel your body language. I like to see who you are. That's why I prefer, even when I'm streaming with women, like, or whoever it is, I like interviews because I don't even call them interviews. I like having conversations with people in real life. So I'll take the extra step to do it. The convenience is being able to live stream it, right? So, for example, me and Boyce Watkins having that conversation, I think it still had its intended effect, but I also like having I don't know, maybe it's just with women. I prefer to have conversations with certain people in real life. So I'm not a big fan of interviewing in general, but I like talking to people in real life, if that make any sense.
Black culture, because this is not the black culture that I grew up with, and the Diddy lawsuit potentially answers a lot of those questions. So,
do you say where you grew up?
I was born in White Plains, New York, and I grew up in Stamford, Connecticut.
Okay. What can you catch us up on the P. Diddy lawsuit? I haven't been in this area as much.
Are you kidding?
My mind has been, I've done Israel Palestine.
A producer whose name is one of them. I would say rappers. He's named like Cuba Gooding Jr., who's an actor.
Yeah.
It's a lot.
Is there has any of this stuff like leaked to the media in terms of like pictures or strong hard evidence, or are these mainly just in the charging documents or the civil case documents so far?
That's also what's really interesting is that yes, it's being covered, but not in the way that it should be covered. The fact that you don't know about it, to me, is crazy because we've never seen someone that with hundreds of hours of footage putting in photos like, here's a picture of the drugs that I have to carry at all times to keep Diddy high. Here's the name of the woman that gets the drugs. Here's a drug dealer. Here's a photo of me with this person. Here's the blood on the floor that night. It's like we've never seen this much proof to make those claims. So it's definitely something to watch.
Somebody said, I just see in chat, somebody said over 100 million to the first civil suit that got settled in less than 24 hours. Is that true?
What's that? Over 100 million to
the first civil suit that got settled in less than 24 hours.
Did that happen with this?
I have no idea.
You might be talking about Cassie, because that got settled pretty quickly.
Oh,
and,
gotcha.
And yeah, that Diddy's basically just at the top of a gang, and the person that's above him is Lucien Grange, which is just wild.
Okay.
Yeah.
What do you think? You made a mention that this might be an indicator to things like
Timestamp 749 is what you said, your car? I don't know how far into this we are. Hold on, let me see if I can do this. We had time. We 749. Yeah.
You know, I think other people have. Like I asked the question. There's a really, in my view, disgusting artist, just in terms of the stuff that she publishes and the photos that she publishes, named Sexy Red, who they're now making a thing, right? Who makes the decision to sign a Sexy Red? You're telling me you have all the money and all the talent at your fingertips, and you sign a woman who, at her baby shower, 9 months pregnant, however pregnant she was twerking and had her butt cheeks in, like, somebody's face was inside of her butt cheeks. That to me is very intentional, because you're not signing her based on talent. You're not signing her based on following. You're signing her because it's filth, and you're perpetuating this filth into my community. So it's just something that I've noticed, something I talk about often, that we're intentionally being sold crack, it feels like, you know.
So I'm trying to think of which direction I want to go.
Any direction you want. I'm an open book.
Yeah, you're fine. There are okay, so there are like two kind of different ways of viewing this. And I feel like you fall more to one side, and then I'll go my side, and then we can kind of see if we can iron out or figure where we are at, I guess, in the middle here. I feel like when you look at the evolution of, when we say like degenerate black culture or degenerate black music, I think we're generally talking about.
I appreciate you, Fat Brown. Knockout Noda says, do I still ride bikes? I haven't, but I thought about getting, this was a Quentin. I thought about getting because I'm a Honda fan, a Honda CBR 1000 RR. I talked about it out loud a little bit, and some people revolted to it, like, oh, you don't even have any time to ride. So we'll see what happens.
Like the beginning of hip hop and rap, and then kind of the evolution of that going forward, coming away from like the R&B singers and everybody like in the 50s, 60s, 70s, or whatever, right?
Yeah. But hip hop isn't always filth. But yeah, I get your point.
But that seems like
we're
the general.
generalizing.
Yeah. It feels like when I look at music, or if I look at music that people create, oftentimes the music is a reflection of their circumstances. And you can see, especially as America and the black communities became more conscientious maybe of the ghettos that they'd been kind of pushed into, or the policing situations that they'd had to be a part of, or drugs destroying their communities, et cetera, et cetera. And then those people turning to crime, that you also see the music and the art kind of reflect those conditions. And then those pieces of art that get created, especially the music, end up being like worldwide popular. Like the most popular genre of music in the world is like hip hop and rap. So when I look at people,
what up, Messi,
pushing certain stuff today, I'm like, okay, well, we got two really big, in my opinion, I went to school for music. I don't know if you talk about the saxophone or whatever. So we had two really big contributions to the world of music from America. One was jazz, that came basically from the black community, and then the second was like rap and hip hop. These forms of music become popular. People see that it's popular. They want to get involved. Obviously, the money men, the people on top, they want to kind of continue to push this because it's popular, and everybody around the world consumes it. I feel like there are a lot of market forces at work that kind of perpetuate this and keep this happening. And that feels pretty satisfying to me to explain what's going on. So when we ask, like, why is it a woman twerking with somebody's face in her butt cheeks? Because, well, for whatever reason, that's like what the worldwide culture seems to want to see right now. And then on the other side, it feels like from people, I don't want to just say conservatives, but I would say broadly speaking, I guess I'll say on your side in general, it feels like there's this idea that there's this much more intentional or like malevolent force working behind the scenes.
Yes, there is. And so I'm going to push back on what you're suggesting here. You're suggesting that this reflects the community, and they're sharing their stories in a way that makes sense. That's completely not true. Okay, WAP does not reflect the circumstances that black people are living in. You know, singing about your vagina and how hard it's getting pounded is not the circumstance of living in the hood. I come from nothing. It's not that did not make me feel closer to the circumstances that I grew up in. And unfortunately, that's actually what people are telling black Americans. Like, actually, it's working the other way. You're putting something, you know, your eyes and your ears are the windows to the soul. And you're basically, when you celebrate someone, and I'm using Cardi B here as an example because I think people are probably more familiar with her than they are with Sexy Red. When you put someone like that on the Grammys stage, which is, again, a decision being made. When I was growing up, the best, most talented people were on the Grammy stage. It was something you could watch with your family. And you still had poor people. You still had, you still had poor people. You still had people that were living in the hood. Okay, we didn't need somebody talking about their vagina in order to feel seen. So what you're doing is you're setting the stage for younger girls who aspire to celebrities to say, okay, well, if I mimic that behavior, I too can become famous. What you're actually doing is you're setting the idols that people are going to look up to, and people are going to think this is what I should aspire to. So it's actually working in the exact opposite way.
Can I ask a question in that, like,
she is 100% right, and they're setting the stage and they're creating the culture that people ultimately embrace. And you could see it what happened. Listen, when Glorilla hit, Sukihana hit. Y'all remember when Glorilla first came out? And it was that super ghetto video. And people were basically clamoring to sign her. Look, you don't even find, you can't even see. I don't even remember the last time that I seen that there was like a bidding war or a signing for culture, for anybody, or even a guy. Well, name me the last guy since 50 Cent that there was an actual bidding war for when they dropped something and it was hot. Jay Electronica, 50 Cent. Somebody tell me, name me one person that there was a bidding war for after they dropped a song. I got you, Spaces. Can you have some patience? Jesus Christ. Somebody tell me where there was a bidding war for an artist after they dropped a song since 50 Cent. No. Drake was already pretty much rocking with Lil Wayne. As a matter of fact, I'll do you one better. Because we all know how Drake was discovered. But then even Drake rapped about the idea that, you know what I'm saying, he was already, like, he was trying to get them to sign him and stuff like that, right? And so when you think about that, when you think about the idea that one song, because y'all not really paying attention and y'all not really thinking this through. I'm not talking about Drake dropping multiple different mixtapes, because you got to remember, Drake dropped Room for Improvement. You know what I'm saying? I don't know if y'all familiar with Room for Improvement. I don't know if y'all know anything about any of that. But Drake dropped multiple different projects and had been working. I'm saying one song, one ratchet song, and it just came out of nowhere. One song. Because, see, a lot of the people that y'all name, and these people had already been on the scene. They have been dropping mixtapes. They have been putting in work. They have been shooting videos and stuff. Dog, this chick came out of nowhere. No background, no nothing. One song, no battle raps. I see some of y'all saying Meek Mill. No. No nothing. Just came out of nowhere, hit the scene, and just took off, bro. Just took off. I ain't never seen nobody drop one song, one video that was ratchet as fuck and it just took the fuck off. Maybe Designer. Designer with the, I got gloves in Atlanta. But part of the reason that people signed Designer is because of Future. Part of the reason why people signed Designer is because they thought that he sounded like Future. So that shit is wild. And then Sexy Red came out and did the same thing, back to back. Sexy Red and then Glorilla. Man, that shit was wild. That shit was absolutely wild. No, Cardi B didn't do it. Cardi B did Love and Hip Hop. She was out there being ratchet. She was selling herself, doing interviews. She was doing all kind of shit. I don't care about whether or not they were successful after they got signed, you know, after they dropped their shit or stuff. I'm just saying that's weird. That is just weird that we just automatically as a culture took to that shit and that junk just took off. It's crazy. But she's absolutely right. Our heroes are now being given to us and then they're blowing up based off of who's promoted. And they're largely embraced by women the most. I'm gonna add that part in there. What up though? What up, Freezy?
Like evolution of things. So if we look at like WAP in particular, hasn't it generally been the case that music is always kind of pushing these sexual boundaries? So it might have been Elvis grabbing his crotch and dancing. It might have been Michael Jackson's dancing is incredibly suggestive, if you've seen that. It might have been in Woodstock, all the loser hippies talking about love, sex, and rock and roll and drugs.
Stop it, fam. We not gonna we not gonna compare Elvis and Michael Jackson grabbing a crotch or pumping to fucking saying booty hole brown, asshole black, bust all over your face, can't wait to get pregnant, twerking in a hospital. Stop, bro. Like, I don't know if this nigga just be arguing just to argue. And see, when people talk real fast and shit, they talk real fast because they making you think that they sound more intelligent than they really are. They not as fucking smart as you think that they are just because they talk fast and they can comprehend what you're saying quickly. He just saying shit. Like, that's not even close to being relevant. You can't say, oh, Elvis grabbing his crotch or Woodstock or stuff like that. How you gonna compare that to a chick that's basically saying, that's literally going all the way to the bottom, and I don't even think it's anything left to the imagination? Stop, bro. Come on, man. Come on. Look at how Candace Owens is looking at this nigga like, what?
Wouldn't like WAP just be kind of like the next evolution in a long chain of
pushing boundaries is not degeneracy, okay? And so here's what I'll say to you. Why don't you pull up the lyrics to WAP and read them right now?
Well, I don't. Why would I need to do that?
Oh, it's just Woodstock. We're just.
See, the nigga didn't want to pull it up. Let's pull up the lyrics to WAP. To wet, the fucking acronym, wet ass pussy. Like, come on, man. Hold on, uncensored. It started off by saying whores in this. Oh, is some whores in this house? The first thing it says, yeah, you fucking with some wet ass pussy. Bring a bucket and a mop for this wet ass pussy. Give me everything you got for this. God, I don't even feel comfortable reading this. I feel like a sucker for reading this. Hold on. Dawg, this is some, I never really realized how bad that this is. Hold on, let me blow this up. Let's look at the lyrics of this shit. This is insane, bro. Beat it up, nigga, catch a charge. Extra large, extra hard. Put this pud in your face. Swipe your nose like a credit card. Hop on top, I want to ride. I do a Kegel while it's inside. Spit it in my... Jesus. All right. I can see why he didn't want to pull that up, because that shit would have been a little bit wild. I never really... Because listen, I don't listen to WAP. I've never, ever was in a car like, hey, fam, throw that WAP on. I have never, ever in my life was riding in a car and say, yo, let me go ahead and throw that WAP on. That ain't nothing like no Elvis pumping at a dance. Come on, fam. Doc, you gotta understand that some of us ain't never listened to WAP, especially uncensored. I ain't never had that shit on my phone. It ain't never been in a playlist. The only time that I've ever seen it or experienced it is hearing that shit online or scrolling up on social media or something like that. I've never, ever in my life listened to or chanted or rocked out with WAP. I didn't. I've never watched the video. I've never done any of that. That's the honest to God truth. So when we going through this conversation and we having it, you got to understand that some of us is just green on this stuff. Del McCree says P. Diddy purposely blocked the R&B musicians. We have more love-making music, talking sweet to a woman, trying to serenade them. Now just at trash rap. Shout out to Del McCree. I appreciate you for holding me down in the super chat. Timeout says they say most of the lyrics were written by men for these women. Listen, all I know is that junk sound wow.
Just pushing the boundaries a little bit. You probably have never even read the lyrics to WAP.
Because I think Ben Shapiro had a huge thing about it.
He couldn't have said, you may have seen him reading the sanitized version of WAP, not the one that is not sanitized. Like the sanitized one, which is still bad, that she can perform at the Grammys, is what he read. You should read the lyrics to WAP.
So WAP was performing at the Grammys? Jesus Christ.
Before you make commentary that it's a reflection of what Black Americans are living through, or it's just somebody that's pushing a boundary. It's not that.
How do you explain the fact that like WAP was like a #1 like worldwide hit then?
Because what I said to you is that they are artificially creating artists at this point. There's no question. And by the way, the Diddy docs, which I found to be a very compelling point, was that Diddy said to the guy, allegedly, who was the producer, that if he was willing to engage in homosexual behavior with him, that he would get him Producer of the Year Grammy.
Now, one thing that I mean, I agree with her 100% as far as things are being pushed into your face. That's one side. The other side of the conversation is that dude, I don't believe that dude any further than I can throw him as far as the guy that is trying to sue Diddy in order to get more money. I don't believe him. I think he just trying to get a payday because he broke and they see Cassie got a payday. And Cassie is the linchpin for incentivizing a lot of these guys to go out there and do it. I think that that's a bad reference point. However, it doesn't make her point any less true, and that I think that things are being pushed in our face in order to continue to influence the culture. 100%.
Okay, so what does that tell you? It means that the entire system is artificial. And by the way, this is something that Kanye said 10 years ago, or however long ago it was, when he took the trophy from Taylor Swift and said, like, this is all fake. This is not even based on merit anymore. And that is my point. The industry is not based on merit. It's not based on capitalism. It is based on selling ideas. So it is, who do we want to artificially make the person that every Black girl will look up to, or who they will aspire to? And
so I can definitely understand that, like, maybe award shows can be rigged, or people can think different things about, you know, who's being awarded based on merits for the Grammys or something like that. But like WAP was genuinely, do you think it wasn't genuinely a popular song, or do you think that music execs have the ability to
Yes, it was a popular song because they manufacture. Listen, we've already proven that they got stream farms, playlists, influencing DJs. Listen, even before we had the streaming the way that we got it now, you can go to a strip club and pay a DJ to get your shit popping. If you got your shit on Funk Flex, which was influenced by, and Hot 97 and all of that, which was influenced by what was happening in the, man, come on, man. He can't be this naive and this much of an idiot. Stop, man.
manufacture that desire publicly?
The latter. So if you start playing something tons of times on the airways, and the latter, you can definitely make something popular. There are songs that I don't even like, that I've heard so much that I know every single lyric to. And I'm like, I don't even know how I know every single lyric to this song, but it's received this many plays. You put it everywhere. You award the person, you invite them to bizarre circumstance. Like, there's absolutely no reason that Cardi B is invited to sit down and ask questions to Joe Biden.
So
in no scenario, unless you are really making an effort to legitimize this person and to make this person aspirational. Again, this is not an
Messi says, I'm an old lady, what's a stream farm? A stream farm is where they basically, okay, so you know how we stream stuff on our phones as far as like music and all of that, and we repeat it and stuff. As a matter of fact, I could show it to you. There's no point in even trying to explain it. But a stream farm is basically like, let's say you go over in China and, you know, you set up a space where a whole bunch of devices is set up. This was actually really, really popular video on Instagram right here. And so I'll pull it up. Let me see if I can pull it up real quick for you. And then they got a whole bunch of devices that's basically playing something to make it popular and get it number one. So you can see all of the phones set up, and they were saying that this is somewhere in China. Where they basically streaming the same song over and over and over again in order to get it into your algorithm and get its popularity and to get its numbers and the streaming stuff up. So it's basically a stream farm where they basically setting it up to where, you know, people can basically get your devices, get your shit popping. It's payola in order to get stuff set up. As a matter of fact, Spotify had a big problem with that probably a little less than a couple months ago. So that's the idea of a stream farm.
Insult to Cardi. I actually think that personality-wise, she's got a ton of talent and she's interesting, and I've said great things about her on Love and Hip Hop, and there are elements of her that make her a star. But what I am saying is that a lot of that is manufactured, and I just don't see how anybody, when looking.
Don't you think it's entirely possible or easily possible? So like, I feel like there's like so many things wrong with this. So one is, why wouldn't competing record labels start pushing talent that's actually popular that people want to hear? I think that would be a big question. A second thing would be, how can we explain the top-down domination of this type of media popularity through all of our reality TV shows, all of our TikTok stuff, all of our YouTube videos, and the music industry? And then how can you explain that all happening worldwide?
Sure.
Like, it feels like that to try to explain this through through people that are exercising control on these platforms would require more control than anybody has ever been able to exercise on any platform ever. And they're doing it like on a multi-country, multi-stage level.
It's just called, it's very easy actually. It's a very basic concept pertaining to governments. They need propaganda. Hollywood is propaganda. You should, for those of you that are watching this live, go listen to the conversation that Joe Rogan had with Cat Williams, where he talked about all of this. And he said, I know you think that you're being entertained. And this is somebody that comes from inside of the industry. And he starts talking about the Diddy stuff, the idea that in order to climb higher, you kind of have to engage in nefarious behavior, and how he was collecting all of this information and he was speaking out about what was happening inside of the industry. And he said it is twofold. You might be being entertained, but they are making decisions about what will entertain you. And a great circumstance in which he presented that.
I think you make a great point, Chloe. Chloe says, I feel like Destiny knows this. His pride and wanting to be right making him seem kind of dumb. I don't understand it either, because it's like some stuff you can kick it with people, and then you can admit, or you could say, yeah, I agree with you on that point, or whatever, so on and so forth. I never see Destiny, whenever I've seen him debate with somebody, agree with somebody on a point. He always, no matter the circumstance, automatically take the opposite position.
That is evidence of that is transgenderism. And he asked hold on.
Okay.
He asked a question which should be answered. He said to Joe Rogan, and he laughed about it. He was like, a guy wears a dress on the red carpet, okay? And then the media tells you how great he wore the dress. And he's like, he said, tell me one situation where he didn't wear the dress wonderfully, when he didn't wear the dress in a way that was amazing. It's because they have all agreed that this is the narrative. And then he talked about the fact that the record execs also own the publications that are saying that something is amazing or something is not amazing. And that is just plain old-fashioned propaganda. So you don't necessarily need to detach what we're talking about from your concept of what governments are interested in.
She's 100% right. She's 100% right. That is listen, all of this stuff has been pushed on us over since the Obama administration. We haven't had a bombardment, and it's the perfect example as far as the alphabet community. You haven't had a bombardment of a narrative being pushed upon you from an agenda perspective more than we ever have right now. I mean, they are literally shoving it, no pun intended, shoving it down your throat. They promoted it so bad, people was getting fired for having a difference of opinion. As far as the whole alphabet community, they started adding letters. They had a party on a White House lawn. They passed laws for it. If that's not an agenda, I don't really understand what is.
It's always propaganda.
So I understand Cat Williams has said this. I also understand that Cat Williams was at one point in his life addicted to crack, and I think he's famous for losing a fight to a high school kid.
Stop, bro. Destiny is a female. Destiny is literally a female, bro. I don't even know how he has so many people that's following him. Who is his core audience? Somebody in the chat said, college kids. They don't ever grow up. Hasn't Destiny been around for a long time? They don't ever grow up. So instead of defending and poking holes in the argument, the first thing he said was, "Hey man, I heard Cat Williams used to be on crack." I hate when people start throwing ad hominem attacks.
I think this benched his career for a while.
Okay, you can insult him, but it doesn't.
I'm not insulting. I'm just saying that I don't know.
2 + 2 = 4. 2 + 2 = 4.
I'm not insulting him. I'm just saying that to lean into his testimony, who also we would both acknowledge has a lot to gain by giving incredulous testimony like this, saying oh my God, these crazy things are happening, right? I don't know if I would just say, well, right, he does. The fact that you're talking about him and you're citing him and you know it, right? If anybody else was saying a similar thing, we'd say, well, okay, they're saying this because they have something to gain for it, right? He knows that this is going to be a hot take, and he knows that it's going to go viral if he says it, and he knows he's going to get a lot of eyes on him for it. So I think it's good to call that into question. I think the issue that I have when it comes to the accusation that everything is some top-down level propaganda is I feel like the conversation shifts away from the important stuff, which is...
Steve says, Dick Gregory pointed out that black people used to dance to Shake Your Moneymaker. And didn't see nothing wrong with it. It's nothing new, just worse. Well, if it's infinitely worse, then that's completely new. If you basically saying come in your mouth and all of this other egregious shit, and bro, come on, stop. To dance to Shake Your Moneymaker versus having a baby and twerking in a hospital is completely different things. To having grown men say no voting, no fucking. Come on, bro. Listen. The way that y'all have a comparison of whatever it is wild to me. It's absolutely wild to me. I don't even know how y'all could say it's even remotely the same thing. Y'all comparison analysis is amazing to me. And y'all more than welcome to come up here if you disagree with me. Only if you disagree with me, hit the link and we can have a conversation. The link is pinned to the top of the chat.
Is why are people attracted to this type of stuff? Why do people vibe with it so much? Why are we replacing traditional, better forms of media or more thought-provoking, I don't know what you would call it, forms of media with this type of stuff? Instead of having conversations about the culture and the society, it's all fixated on some weird top-down plot to like control media consumption.
I think you just like to be contrarian because I don't
Oh
understand.
man, she just took the words out of my fucking mouth. That's crazy. He just takes the different position. He never says, you know what, that might be interesting. I think you got a point there.
Point that you're making here, like, of course.
Wait, hold on, wait. Let me restate that. I'm sorry. The point I'm making is very clear. If I was going to, I've got a almost 13-year-old son in a few days. Okay, if I was to see that he's consuming media, my go-to would be like, hey, Nathan, why are you watching this? This is crazy. We need to look at something else. I need to, like, who are your friends? What are you looking at online? Like, we need to change your media consumption habits because this isn't working. I would never think like, I think that the school is involved in disseminating media towards him and there's no way that we can change this. Because I feel like on your side of the story, people are basically like,
man, what the fuck is he talking about, bro? Let me help you to understand something. The amount of time that he probably spends with his kid versus the amount of time that that kid is being influenced by what it is that they experience in 8 hours, 9 hours a day in school is crazy. It's insane. It's the reason why some parents send their children to certain schools, to private schools, is because you're literally being influenced by the culture. No, look. I don't care if you was raised in a great environment. I was raised in a 2-parent household. My parents had to take me out of school when I was when I was about to go into middle school, and they had to send me to private school because I was absolutely going down the wrong path, and that's a fact. And you combine that with the fact that most parents are both working in most households ever since I was ever able to remember, and that plays a role because you then being raised by latchkey daycare, and you're being input into you and you're listening to and you're controlled by and everything that's in your ears and your AirPods and all of this shit. And then they teaching you and they forcing you to look at things and they acknowledge, oh my God, and pronouns and all of this other bullshit. He think that having a little punk ass conversation with a kid is going to influence what it is that he got going on when he himself is literally living a lifestyle that is not ideal or conducive to a child being raised in. Stop it, man. Stop it, bro. It's in everything you do. You can't even go to the movies without, man, I went to go see Thor, and I was like, damn, they talking about gay stuff in Thor? I thought that this was supposed to be the place, man, you can't turn on a sports game without seeing Black Lives Matters on the court. Or they was fucking playing basketball during the pandemic with different messages on the back of their jerseys and shit. What you talking about? It's everywhere. It's everywhere that you turn. Everywhere that you turn, everything that you look at is propaganda. It's all propaganda. It's advertisement. Shout out to Dre and Andrea, Love Crossing Borders. I appreciate you, says, I've traveled the world and they've literally pushing this in other countries to the point that people worship in America. Like you, I've never heard of these songs. Here's the other part. We had the Vice President of the United States of America going to Ghana and other countries and promoting the alphabet community agenda in other countries, where they clearly said that we don't support this and we don't want this as a part of what it is that we got going over here in our country. They're pushing it in other countries. If that's not an agenda, if that's not propaganda, I don't know what is. The vice president, when they should have been securing the borders, they was going to Ghana in order to secure an agenda. Thank God that Ghana rejected it. But that is literally the definition of agenda. Thank you, Dre. I appreciate you.
We're hopeless. There's nothing we can do.
No, it's not hopeless, but if you want to be able to do something about something, you need to be able to acknowledge the something, right?
What would the thing
you can't
make
it make it a conspiracy. It's like, no, when I graduated high school, there wasn't a single trans kid. Now you've got like
Facts.
More than 50% of kids that think that they're other. That is obviously propaganda. Clearly, there's just no. It's just not possible that you didn't exist. Maybe there was one person, and then all of a sudden everyone is.
Sure, I think it's okay to draw
that can
the
only
line.
happen. That can only happen through propaganda, right?
Maybe,
They're suddenly being told it's an option. They're kids, right? You want to experiment and you want to be different. You're looking for a way to stand out, and so you hold on. And in the classrooms, you've got teachers that are reinforcing this narrative that is, yes, top down, right? It's like Hollywood.
They had drag queens reading books inside of the libraries to kids and their parents against their will. Come on, man, stop.
In lockstep with the Department of Education that is making these options available. If it was natural, like when I graduated high school, there were gay kids. There were lesbian kids. There wasn't a ton of them. It wasn't an identity. That's another thing. The identity thing
the identity
is very new.
An interesting thing. I agree for sure.
And so it shows you who are they emulating? Who are they copying when they do this stuff? Because it's an option. It's just being presented to you. It's obviously not natural if it didn't exist naturally. And
I agree, but culture is a very complicated thing.
Culture is not a complicated thing.
So complicated. I think governments pray that they have the amount of control over culture that you think they do. There's no shot that anybody would be able to top down control that much stuff.
Like I said, there have been a lot of evidence that has come out, whether you're looking at the Jeffrey Epstein case or you're reading through the 72-page document for the Diddy lawsuit that suggests that the government is involved.
Even on the Jeffrey Epstein case, like what's suggesting government involvement here?
What do you mean? What do you mean what's suggesting?
Like what part of the Jeffrey Epstein case is like, oh my God, the government is like playing a part in this?
He had fucking presidents on his plane. I'm looking at him the way that Candace Owens is looking at him right now. I'm looking at him the way that Candace Owens is looking at him right now. Is you crazy or is you nuts? Is this man insane? He had some of the most powerful people literally hanging out at the island. He had a private island. Some of the most powerful people in the world. Is this dude insane?
Well, the fact that he had ties to the Mossad and the CIA, and that when they raided his home, he had his face and about, 6 different passports? Who can issue passports?
Sure, but when we look at
who can issue you a different identity?
I don't know about different identities, but for passports, I imagine you can get that illegally, or you can just get it from countries depending on citizenship status. Well, but what I'm saying is that, like, for when we look at Epstein, right? Epstein was a billionaire, right?
Why was he a billionaire?
Why? Because of trading or whatever he did? I'm not entirely sure.
No, that's the question. Nobody knows why him or his brother has had billions of dollars.
Sure. There's lots of people where I don't know how they made their money, but to fill in the gaps of all of this with some...
No, you should always know how somebody became a billionaire. That's like a very easy thing. Like somebody shouldn't just be like, I became a billionaire and you have no idea how. Like,
I'm sure there are tons of people who are billionaires
I sold the product. You know why Elon Musk has money. You know why Jeff Bezos has money. You should not say we can't connect the dots on how this person became a billionaire that was able to purchase an island.
Filings aren't always going to be public that like, oh, well, I can figure out exactly...
You don't know how somebody became a billionaire, but a nigga just automatically just became a billionaire? Bruh. Stop it.
The way this person became a billionaire. If they don't work in like public traded companies or something.
This nigga is crazy. He just talking shit. I don't even know what he talking about anymore. It's insane. Shout out to Dre, says, after my travels, I've learned most people are sheep. And most people, and you know what the worst part about it is? Most people are voluntarily sheep. That's the worst part about this conversation.
How will you ever know? There's no way you're going to know that.
Thank you,
He did.
Then what's the question?
It's not a question. It's just nobody understands why Jeffrey Epstein or his brother have billions of dollars.
Well, you just said did he have a ton of shares in publicly traded companies?
What do you mean? Did he have a ton?
Like
of
when
shares
we asked, for instance,
customers?
like, so here's a question: do you know how Jeff Bezos made his money, or how Elon Musk made his money?
I know that Jeff Bezos created Amazon, and I know that Elon Musk has created a ton of things. Tesla, you got Starlink.
Okay, kind of. So not really. Bezos made his money because of the appreciation of shares of Amazon that he had a huge stake in, right? And Elon Musk made a lot of his money. Initially, it was on PayPal and a couple of other ventures, and then because he.
And did we miss something? Are we misunderstanding something, or are we all on the same page? Just want to make sure we're clear.
He had a huge equity stake in SpaceX and Tesla especially. That's where they made their money, is ownership of stock of publicly traded companies. That's what I'm saying. We can look at those people, we can say we know how they made their money. So I don't think Epstein had massive shares in publicly traded companies, did he? So he wouldn't have made
Did you actually look into the Epstein case, or are you just, because I can't tell right now if your thing is just to be contrarian?
Okay, hold on.
No, I'm being serious.
Oh, I don't even know why anybody would get into a debate with this woman, especially about anything related to politics.
I'm asking you because it seems like you're just like, whatever your position is, I'm going to take the opposite and I'm going to say something really quickly and try to say, well, how do we know? And it's like, that's actually quite boring.
Sure.
You know what I mean? Like, so it's like, dude, like, let's actually have a real conversation, because tons of stuff is happening right now. A lot of stuff is being exposed, right? Mm-hmm. People are, for the first time, able to grasp.
Thick too. Damn. And the more she talked, the more attractive she become. I ain't even gonna front. I kind of got a thing for Candace Owens. And I ain't gonna disrespect her because I know that she married and she just had a baby, but god damn it, like, the more that she talk and the more that she evolved, the more gorgeous she become. I ain't gonna cap, bro. Ryan Isaac says, I agree, 80, that most people are voluntarily sheep, which is why I have a hard time feeling sorry for people. You got a point there, my friend. You absolutely got a point there. Yeah, I can't debate with you on that one. It is difficult, but I do try to separate it. Damn, she fine as hell. Right up my goddamn alley. I ain't even gonna lie to you, bro. Propaganda by Edward Bernays. Read it. All right, I'm going to have to put that on the list. I've never heard of that one before. Do y'all see her? Do y'all see Candace Owens right here? No, let me pull this down. I'm so mad that they got the, god damn it. I'm so mad that they got the, maybe it is best that they put the little chat thing on the side over her, because she thick as hell. Thick as hell. Did y'all see her? How come ain't nobody in the chat? I mean, not in the chat. How come ain't nobody in the public saying Candace Owens is intelligence is also sexy? I'm gonna just say it, bro. I'm just saying, bro. She bad as hell, and I'm not saying that I would do anything. I'm just saying that she bad as hell. Like she a nice prototype of what we should be looking for in the community and in the culture. Somebody said Emperor Wolfgang says, Anton, you married. What does that mean? So what? Because I'm married, I don't have eyes, I can't identify when somebody is attractive? Okay, so if we talking about fucking Drea or Bernice Burgos or Lori Harvey and it's, oh yeah, she kind of thick, she fine. But when we talking about what makes a woman intelligent and fine at the same time, come on, man, she fine as hell. I don't know what y'all talking about. And Candace, let me tell you the type of fine Candace Owens is. Candace Owens is the type of fine where, damn, how do I say this without being like wild? Candace Owens is the type of fine where, like, you don't know that she got yams the way she got yams until, like, you know, you see the yams and you be like, fuck, like, what is all of that up under there? Which is only reserved for her husband, all right? I'm just saying. But it's that type of body type. She got that type of profile where you didn't know that she was that until you find out that she was that. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, man, it's crazy. Let me refocus, because, shit, the more that she talk, the finer she get, man.
a theory that finally makes sense, right? It finally makes sense. It makes sense that there is a blackmail ring operating in DC, because we don't understand why we keep sending our politicians to DC, and then it's like they completely serve anybody other than the American people, right? So when that Jeffrey Epstein case got exposed, and if you were following it and reading the documents,
I did follow it. I read the entire document, the 80-page report that came out from the government. They did a report on the prison where he supposedly got killed.
And you're realizing how many artists have stood up and said this exact same thing was going on. Now you have somebody that has filed something with proof saying it's going on, and then you just have like a Destiny being like, oh, what if it's not going on? What if it's not? Whoa.
Okay, well, sure. So here's like a
maybe WAP is just really just that amazing. People just love talking about vaginas and like mopping the floor. It's like, you can do that thing, but it's not interesting. You know what I mean?
Okay, sure. All right.
It's like,
here's just an easy test question so I can get my bearings straight. What do you think about the 91 or so indictments for Donald Trump?
What do you mean?
Do you think that those are credible?
Did he just switch that? What the fuck? Wait. We just switched from the Epstein docs. Look, I see what he did. Y'all didn't see it. So y'all think that just because he talked fast that he's smart. Let me tell you something, bro. He just switched the subject really fast because he was getting his ass kicked. He switched the subject really quick because he was getting his ass beat. And so he's like, yeah. What do you think about Trump? Come on, fam. That's not how you switch a subject. You don't just hit a hard stop and then do a U-way. You don't just switch the subject. You got to stay on whatever it is that you was talking about. But whatever, it's his live stream. I'm guessing he gonna switch it up. That nigga catching an L. I don't know if he didn't know what he was running against.
Indictments that have credible evidence behind them?
Well, speak to me specifically about which indictment you're talking about.
So the Mar-a-Lago case.
I actually haven't followed that one, so I'm not going to push back on that one, but I can tell you the ones that I have followed and I've given an answer on. Like, obviously, we've never seen the media or the justice system go after any president in the way that
doesn't matter. You could say the same about P. Diddy. You've never seen the media go after a black artist.
I didn't say it did.
What? What the fuck? Okay, wait. So you're telling me that us witnessing what is literally happening, especially as this continues to uncover with Fani Willis and the Atlanta mayor and Nathan Wade, who was not even experienced profiting, and then allegedly meeting at the White House before these charges is even trumped up in all of these different states, trying to remove him from ballots and even removing people's option to be able to vote for him and determine who's going to be president of the United States in the first place, is not politicians, people in power, people that craft our laws, going after somebody. And he's comparing it to Diddy and Cassie, who was over there having fucking freak-offs. I thought that this dude was smart. Who did he beat in the debate? Because I'm just curious. Who the fuck is he debating and winning? Because you could call this shit out 10 times out of 10. Who is he debating and beating? Ain't no way in the world that this man would be able to stand in front of me. At all. There's no way in the world that this man would be able to stand in front of me, because I'm calling out the bullshit. Now, she can't do it because she's a woman and she has to remain in her femininity, or else people going to call her a hyena. But there's no way in the world that this man would be able to stand in front of me. This dude is capping.
I didn't finish my statement. Why are you saying it doesn't matter? Why'd you just say that?
It could be that nobody's ever done something this
but I haven't
before.
You're so contrarian that you haven't even let me finish.
Why do you keep calling me contrarian?
You haven't even let me finish my sentence. You said that doesn't matter. It's like, what do you?
Because you gave a point that was irrelevant.
I know, but I don't understand what you're objecting to. You said
the media's never gone after somebody like this before.
You asked me a question. Mm-hmm. I started to answer it by saying the media has never gone after anyone like this before.
Okay.
And then you just said it doesn't matter. It's like, can I answer the question? Or you just gotta contradict right away?
I'm not contradicting. I'm just fighting the crazy narratives that prevent anybody from having a real analysis of any of the things going on. But you
Angry Man debated Destiny. I didn't know that Angry Man had debated Destiny. Shout out to my dog AM. I love AM. We rock with AM over here.
All right, then, since you know my narrative, even though you asked the question, I wasn't able to answer it.
You can answer the question.
I'm glad that you defeat the narrative. No, we're good. We're good. I'm not going to have you ask. I'm not going to actually have you ask a question and then cut me off and say that I'm parroting a narrative when I haven't even told you what my opinion was. That's not you being interesting. That's you being obnoxious.
I think that you're trying to avoid answering the question.
By being cut off by you?
I said you could finish it if you want.
You're trying to avoid answering the question. Quite literally, I was trying to answer the question and you cut me off. So,
Iceberg Slim says Destiny is the type of dude to pee sitting down. Most dudes is peeing sitting down now. Because they being raised by their mama. Because their mama keep telling them to put the toilet seat down and make sure that you don't get nowhere or whatever and all of that. Most guys are peeing sitting down nowadays. So that's not even sounding like an insult at this point. AD, the Carlson and Kumo interview needs dissecting. The Carlson and Kumo interview. I didn't know that Carlson and Kumo did an interview. JP, the businessman, I agree. Anton, every time she speaks, Candace always gets sexier. Hashtag Slim Thick. That chick is beautiful. She is gorgeous.
We're good on that. We can move on and talk about something other than Trump and his 95 indictments.
I think it's 91 or 92.
Okay.
Okay, well, what are we talking about that won't get you as triggered?
Okay. I just honestly, like I said to you in the beginning of this, I said I am an open book.
I'm just curious what you think about the Trump indictments. Do you think that a civil suit that's filed where there isn't a grand jury that looks over it, there's not like it's not like a DA case, not like a federal prosecutor, do you think that the Diddy stuff is like rock solid? Do you think that's really, really, really important to look at? But then when we look at indictments that have gone to grand juries that have then issued warrants or subpoenas or whatever, I was just curious if you think that the credibility on that side is as heavy as the P. Diddy stuff. I
was really happy to answer that question. Would you like me to answer it?
Sure.
So I would say that you are comparing two cases that are not similar, and I'll tell you why they aren't similar. In the case of Diddy, you have somebody that has no power that is filing this and producing evidence to say that the justice, essentially the same thing that people that defend Trump are saying, the justice system is corrupt, right? That these people are responding and being motivated by things like the LAPD's involvement that night in writing a fake police report, if his allegations are true. And he had photos and said that he was the person that said call 911, and then seeing the media report on it and lie about what happened at that studio is very scary. It's scary if unless he faked these blood photos, which is a plausibility, but it shows you that there are people that are sitting at the top that have a ton of power, right? So the people that are acknowledging that and then also saying that those same people, that same network of individuals that can make up allegations and make them go away with the media or stay and make it a big deal because of the media are defending Trump and what's happening to him. So this isn't.
And that's a great point. Quentin is crazy talking about sitting down is healthier. God bless Quentin. Jesus Christ. Quentin don't even mind continuing to be the butt of the jokes. That's how you know that he actually will super chat his craziness. Aleem Workfield says he's smart enough to pivot away from losing an argument or at least try. He shouldn't have been. He shouldn't have been. Jaron Harrison says Destiny debated your girl Pearly things. Oh, really? I didn't know that. I don't follow Destiny like that. Only thing that I've seen him talk about, only thing that I've ever reacted to from Destiny was when he said his girl left or some shit like that. Iceberg Slim says Destiny closes the refrigerator with his hip. Y'all so ignorant. I hate y'all. I think that y'all are the most ignorant chat that I've ever experienced in my entire life. Oh my God. I hate this chat. I hate this chat so much. Because when he said it, all I can think of is imagine he doing like this. Ty Austin says Destiny is the type of man. Oh my God. Oh, Jesus Christ. I hate this chat so much.
They're actually, these two things are not at conflict with one another, what's happening with Diddy and what's happening with Trump. It's actually, they complement one another in terms of what we're saying. Now, the only case, I've followed two of them, the Fannie Willis one,
Well, can I ask a question about the LAPD thing?
Yeah.
So if we're worried because in the P. Diddy case, it looks like the LAPD at the very top might have been involved with something, if that's the claim. I mean, isn't Donald Trump at the very, very, very top if he's the president? Isn't he literally like the top guy in the world?
He doesn't control the courts. And that's, I mean, hold on. The point of exactly being is that if they feel that they have a
I'm not reading y'all shit right now. I'm leaving y'all alone.
Person that they cannot control. So if there is this blackmail ring that exists, and it's starting to look like there is, definitively, and I very much believe that, and I am not ashamed to say that it is pretty much the only thing that makes sense in Hollywood, is what I read in these documents, then it would be clear as to why it is that when you are existing outside of the ring, or you are somebody that cannot be controlled, you are somebody that is attacked. Now, again, we have heard many artists, and I like that we have this example in Hollywood, because we don't need to go down the path of Trump derangement. We can actually talk about people that we don't feel any way about, right? Diddy, I don't have an issue with Diddy. You don't have an issue with Diddy. We can look at this case more objectively, because people, I think, do get so about Trump that you can't just look at things objectively. If that person is alleging...
Wait, do you think that's what happened here?
I mean, you did jump. I'm glad it's live and you can go back and watch it. But like, I didn't get to. You asked me a question, and then before I could answer my question, you did say like narrative, and I'm like, okay, that feels like the Trump derangement trap. I don't want to do it. I want to have a productive conversation.
Wendell Kilgore says my homeboy sound like an auctioneer. He do. He talk really, really fast. Ray says Destiny the type of guy to wear pants while. Jesus Christ. Y'all are so crazy, man. Y'all crazy. Destiny passes PP with TP with toilet paper after going. Oh my God. God, y'all are the worst ever. Y'all are the worst ever.
About the plausibility that people that are extremely powerful are blackmailing people, and these people can't can't speak out because whatever they have on them on camera is scary. You know, there's Justin Bieber, I think. There's also something going on with him. His pastor said, you know, pray for them. There are evil forces that in Hollywood, kind of at the same time as this. Cat Williams, I know he used to do crack, whatever, has spoken out about this. There's been a lot of artists that have spoken out about this. Kanye West has spoken out about this, about, you know, the control and the network that's happening within Hollywood. So I think instead of, trying to dismiss these people as crazy or crackheads or whatever it is you want to dismiss them as, when enough people say something, including Michael Jackson, who's dead, maybe there's some truth to it. Like, can we examine whether or not this might be true, especially when somebody is such an underdog like a producer and does something like this?
I think analyzing who's saying what, I think is important. But I think that when we say that somebody's an underdog, so we're going to believe them because they give a story that we might happen to like or plays into something else that we believe. I mean, I would just be critical.
This dude talks so fucking fast.
Of the underlying material. Like if the sources are a few people, like everybody stands to gain something when it comes to viral stuff. Everybody knows that. When you have outrageous claims to make, and if he has evidence, I think that's interesting.
Otherwise, I would have said, I don't know, it's frivolous. Like there's, you can always sue a rich person.
But I'm also saying that like a charge is a charge, or a claim is a claim, or a filed case is a filed case. It'll be interesting to see what ends up playing out in court, and then we actually see. I'm keen to see that. That's what I want to see. I'm not condemning the person. I'm not a person that believes that you. I would hope, and I obviously have lost faith in the court system in some ways, but I would hope that it works the way it's supposed to work, and that it will take more evidence, and that he has to appear in front of people and show us more evidence and show us more video evidence of what's going on. But so what I will say is that it looks credible. Okay. When you say that you've lost faith in the court system, does that mean that if a guilty verdict is returned, you'll think it was a good case, but if a non-guilty verdict is returned, are you going to? Oh, okay. Well, why would you preface with I've lost faith in the court system?
Because I have seen some circumstances in which things that should not happen do happen, and a good example of that, if you want to talk about the craziest case that I followed in a long while, it was the defamation one, where the jury awarded, she was asking for what, 10 million, and they awarded her for 400 or 800 million just to like bankrupt Trump, and her allegations had expired, but they created a new law in New York so that she could bring them forth.
Yeah, that's fucking wild, and nobody actually want to talk about that. Nobody wants to talk about the allegations and how they change things in order to be able to bankrupt things. The Letitia James chick, literally was elected and ran on a proposition of possibly getting to Trump.